Βάλε να γράψει. Είμαστε και έτοιμοι στο πλάνο κλπ. Τζάμιν ζωντανά και δορυφορικά, κυρίες και κύριοι, και βρισκόμαστε στην ταράτσα του ξενοδοχείου που διαμένουν οι Dream Theater και βρισκόμαστε εδώ με τους κυρίους Mike Portnoy and Derek Sherinian. Hi guys, how are you?
How are you?
You...
Καλά, γεια σου.
Ο ένας είναι Έλληνας. This guy over there is half Greek.
The good half.
What's the bad half like?
You don't want to know.
Okay, let's get down to business. It's your first time in Greece, and you're playing a show tonight, and do you have a feeling of anticipation? That's, you know, the first time.
I can't wait. I'm very excited. Like I've been saying to everybody, it's always great to play a new country that we've never played, and also Athens is just absolutely beautiful. Playing outdoors, it's going to be a beautiful theater, a nice night. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm very excited.
I echo everything he says, and actually, I think I'm going to move here because I've seen so many beautiful women in the last 2 hours. I'm sold, and I would make my mother very happy too. Mi materamu.
Your miteras, all right, good. Now let's. One thing I've always wanted to ask you guys is you seem to be a band that goes the grain of what's in music these days. I mean, you're a band that plays long songs, and you put an emphasis on technique, and you do things that, in inverted commas, are not the in thing to do. How do you feel about that?
I think you're right.
Everybody else is doing, you know, the 3-minute. Yeah, exactly.
Everyone else, there's plenty of people doing that. You'd rather do something that's different.
It's a harder route, but I think it's more satisfying, you know, in the long run.
Even if it means less recognition, less sales, less whatever?
Well, it might be, you know, maybe look at it the short term, the sales might be less than, you know, what Spice Girls or Bush or whatever does. But those bands aren't going to be around for too long, you know, whereas we've already been around over 10 years, and I think a band like this has the opportunity to have a nice long career playing music like this. So I think we'd rather look at the long-term goals.
Right. Derek, you've been in the band for the past 3.5, 4 years, I think.
Yep.
Do you feel the new boy anymore?
No, definitely not. These guys have always made me feel very welcome from day one. So, I mean, I definitely feel a part of totally.
When you first got the call to join Dream Theater, was it like, how did you feel? Was it like a challenge or what?
It was probably the biggest musical challenge of my life, because when I first heard the material that I had to learn for the audition, I had a feeling of fear in my heart because I didn't know if I was going to be able to do it. But it was a great challenge, and it's been very fulfilling.
Now, this one's for you. You seem to be writing a huge amount of lyrics in Dream Theater and music, but you know, you do a lot of lyrics, and you do lyrics that on first reading, even on first reading, seem, you know, deep and thoughtful, and like songs like "Take Away My Pain," which is.
Oh, those are John's lyrics.
Those are John's lyrics?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll rephrase the question. The band's lyrics.
The band's lyrics. Well, the thing with us, we all write lyrics. So once the song is written, everybody, you know, one person will go away and write the lyrics. So on this last album, you have 4 different people writing lyrics, and you get lots of different points of views and lots of different writing styles. I think my style is different from John Petrucci's, who's different from John Mayung's, and you're able to hear lots of individual voices. Whereas with the music, you're hearing a collective voice. With the lyrics, you're hearing the individual voices.
Yeah. But where do they come from, the lyrics, I mean?
They're all different. You bring up "Take Away My Pain." That was something that John wrote for his father, who had passed away. So that was obviously a very personal emotion for him that he wrote about. Some of the lyrics I wrote on this album come from the frustrations of, you know, what goes on in the music industry and some of the things that have, you know, been obstacles for us along the way over the past couple of years. Yeah, but it's different for everybody.
Yeah. Well, there's no throwaway lyrics as such on any of your albums. I mean, there's no girls and cars and things like that.
No.
We're going to start tapping into that the next record.
Those will be Derek's lyrics.
I think we need to cover that range.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I've got one deep, meaningful musical question for you, Derek, which is, how do you feel about the Chicago Bulls winning the title for the 6th year?
Did they win again?
Yeah, they did.
I think it's great. I was rooting for them. I think it's awesome.
Yeah. Michael Jordan actually scored 45 points.
You know what? He is, if you looked up greatness in the dictionary, you got to see that bald head because he's the king.
Bald head, all right. You always go on in interviews and things like that as saying that you listen to music that's completely different what you are normally associated with. I mean, you're a big rap fan. How do you, reconcile this with the music you're actually playing?
Well, I think the thing with Dream Theater is that we take lots of different influences in. So, I mean, immediately when people hear us, they think of progressive bands like Rush and Yes, or maybe some of the heavier edge, that has that Metallica influence or whatever. But really, we all listen to many different things. I'll listen to Beastie Boys and Public Enemy because you mentioned rap, but I also listen to a lot of really heavy things and a lot of really eclectic things. Derek listens to jazz fusion and Aerosmith and Van Halen, and then some of the other guys may go home and listen to classical. I mean, the whole thing about Dream Theater, it's a big melting pot of influences. It's not just progressive or metal. It's a big melting pot of everything.
So you don't like to put any specific label on your influences, A, music B?
Absolutely not. That's the whole concept of Dream Theater, is that there's no labels. Everything is different. Every song has a totally different personality and different genre.
So what's next on the agenda for Dream Theater? Recording-wise, touring-wise, whatever?
We're going on tour with Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Deep Purple in America from August 6th to September 6th. And then we might take a couple weeks off, and then we're going to start concentrating on the next record.
There'll also be a live album in the fall,
right,
which we'll be recording this month while in Europe.
This is going to be a difficult decision for you guys. I mean, what to select to actually
tell me
fit
about
on
it.
a double?
Well, it's the same problem that we have choosing the live set, especially because our songs are long. So it's tough. It's tough to get everything in there. But we're going to record 2 different shows with 2 completely different set lists. It'll be about 4 hours of music on tape. So there'll be lots to choose from. And whatever doesn't make it on a live album, we could always use it in one form or another. Yeah, exactly.
You do seem to give emphasis to this thing. I mean, your fans value for money, doing B-sides and EPs and live and release things and all that. Is that a conscious decision on your part, or is that a record label, whatever?
No, it's a conscious decision. Sometimes we have to battle the record company to get that stuff out there. I mean, I know I'm a big collector. I collect CD singles from Marillion and Metallica, whatever, anybody, and all the bands that always did that kind of stuff. And I know how fanatic. Exactly, I collect everything.
I'm going to blow your horn for a little bit for you. If Mike, I would say, is probably 99 to 100% responsible for the little B-sides and all the little special things, putting the fan club shows together and all of that stuff. So
it's because I'm a fan myself. I know what it's like to collect stuff, and I see how fanatical our fans are with bootlegs and stuff. So you want to give them as much as you can to, to collect and enjoy and listen to.
At a glance, how many records have you got in your collection?
Few thousand, CDs, and my house is like a big giant library. It's really unbelievable. You come down into my basement and I transform the whole place into a library. Thousands of videos, thousands of CDs, thousands of tapes and magazines and books and laser discs.
Thanks very much for inviting me there. All right. The final thing is another deep, meaningful, completely musical question for you this time. What did you do with your hairstyle?
I went from that to this, and let me tell you something. I've always dreamed about cutting my hair. I never had the balls to do it, and it's nice to have finally done it because it feels so good, especially in weather like this.
And I think you look very handsome.
Guys, thanks very much. Have a great show tonight.
Thank you.
See you.
Ευχαριστώ.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Cheers. Σε αγαπώ πολύ.
Good. Είμαι άθλια, δηλαδή δεν μπορώ να φανταστώ πώς κατουργεί.